Hey, what's up, guys? Evan here. 430,000 companies have filed for bankruptcy so far in 2023. For one, a number of other businesses have recently filed for bankruptcy. According to S&P Global, more than 230 companies have filed for bankruptcy so far this year. This is the highest rate since the Great Financial Crisis in 2008. Now, you may hear that we're going to have a soft landing, everything is going to be okay, and I would love to personally believe that. But the more you look into what's happening and you look behind the curtain, you will see something different. You will most likely see this everything bubble that's on the verge of popping, and I believe it's going to pop very, very soon. Here's why I believe this. U.S. households have a perceived net worth of $18 trillion. Did you know that $5 trillion of the $18 trillion was acquired in one single year inside of 2020? Now, during this period, there was a lot of stimulus, unemployment benefits, PPP loans, eviction moratoriums. People were able to pull money in because they weren't paying rent. A lot of them were not paying rent and they were able to pull money in, invest it in their business, buy cars. There's so much money out there. So, when you look at this massive bubble that's being formed, and then you look at what millions of companies are going through right now, what you're likely going to see is this number go from 430,000 to over 1 million bankruptcies sometime next year. And so the big question is, if you have all these bankruptcies continuing to skyrocket, how can people pay on their second homes, on their cars, on their primary residences? They're not. They're not going to be able to. We're going to begin to see a fire sale of assets that's unlike which we've never seen before since this country's existence in 1776. It's a big claim, 250 years. I believe it's going to be worse than 1929 and 2008 for many. And I believe you're going to see so many people go out there and create massive fortunes if they're positioned, if they're prepared, if they understand what's coming. They're going to be able to go out there and do some very, very, very big things. Take a look at what's actually happening versus what they're telling you is happening, and then you'll be able to make smart, well-informed decisions for yourself and your family. Please hit the like button. When you hit the like button, YouTube will share this content to educate more people about what's going on in America. And if you'd like to fix your credit, we'd love to help you out. My company, greatcreditfast.com. That's greatcreditfast.com. Bankruptcies, repossessions, or any negative item under your credit report. Go to greatcreditfast.com, click the link in the description just below this video, schedule a free strategy session. Take a look at this. So, U.S. bankruptcies surge as economic strains mount, corporate failures echo 2008 crisis. Now, according to the latest data, bankruptcy filings have seen a significant increase of 133% in the past year, culminating to 430,000 cases. Corporate bankruptcies have experienced an even steeper ascent, soaring 30% on the year to 177,000. This brings the count of major bankruptcies to the highest level since the 2008 financial crisis, a troubling echo of a tumultuous period of economic history. Now, when you look at these numbers, it's a 30% jump between September 2022 and September of this year. 30%. That is significant. And look at this. Corporate bankruptcies have experienced an even steeper ascent, soaring by 30% on the year, 177,000. Now look, I saw this lady on Twitter. She runs a TikTok. She runs a VC firm. Look at what she's saying that she's going through with her company and what a lot of other VC firms are going through. Because this isn't just, small businesses, not just large businesses, it's all businesses. PitchBook released data. 38% of all VC firms have completely disappeared off the map. So they pull data here. Basically, in the last 3 quarters of 2023, these firms, 38% of all the VC firms, have invested in less than 2 companies. So they're basically off the grid. Some people just call these zombie funds. It's really hard to kill a VC firm because fees and deals just sort of keep going. Now notice she says zombie firms. Now look at what Reuters is saying. Look at what some of the biggest banks in the world are saying. They're all saying the same exact term because all of these companies are soon going to be zombie companies that are going to disappear. Look at this. So this is Charles Schwab, according to Standards. The trailing 12-month speculative grade corporate default rate rose to 4.1% in September 2023 after hitting a low of just 1.3% in April 2022. The projected default rate is anticipated to rise by 5% by the conclusion of the third quarter in 2024 as corporations grapple with escalating borrowing costs. Concurrently, there has been a notable increase in downgrades compared to upgrades in the high-yield market this year. While investment-grade corporate bonds have seen more upgrades than downgrades, the margin remains slender. This trend might persist, given that higher borrowing expenses tend to affect lower-rated, highly leveraged companies more than those holding investment-grade status. Currently, corporations need to refinance approximately $2 trillion in debt. Around $770 billion of investment-grade rated bonds are set to mature in 2024, followed by over $900 billion in 2025-2026. If spreads continue to compress, the market will witness additional supply, primarily focused on refinancing activities. Companies seem to be waiting for rate cuts in 2024, intending to delay refinancing. However, due to the risk, they might be compelled to refinance. Failure to pivot could result in a disaster for many companies. Anticipating difficulties in refinancing in 2025, prompted by a potential wave of defaults in 2024, companies might opt to refinance sooner. This apprehension suggests an impending surge in corporate failures in 2024. Debt-laden companies across Europe, the Middle East, and Africa are confronting a scramble to refinance of $500 billion in the first half of 2024. This $2 trillion corporate debt issue isn't exclusive to America. Many other countries face similar situations in the first half of 2024. Consequently, it's foreseeable that numerous companies will find it increasingly challenging to sustain their operations. This leads to a critical question. A recession is when your neighbor loses their job. A depression is when you lose yours. We're approaching a scenario where widespread job losses are imminent. During this period, companies are likely to cut costs by reducing office space, further pressuring banks, which hold 70% of these loans. Consequently, banks will incur more losses not only from corporations, but also due to declining valuations of commercial properties. The domino effect will manifest notably in 2024, resulting in continued layoffs. Small business owners are already making sacrifices, either merging or seeking alternative funding sources instead of relying on lenders. Big and small banks have tightened lending standards due to the Federal Reserve's interest rate hikes over the past 2 years. The recent collapse of 3 regional banks and the potential for stricter regulations have made banks more cautious. Observing online search trends provides insights into the situation. Searches for job-related queries and financial assistance indicate an upward trend. Post-holiday season, this trend is expected to intensify as individuals accumulate more debt, including student loans and credit card obligations. With rising expenses for insurance and taxes, individuals seek loans against their properties, contributing to the growing demand for home equity lines of credit. The economy's changing landscape indicates a desperation for credit. This juxtaposition of a purportedly strong economy with increasing reliance on food banks for sustenance highlights a stark contrast in reality. Reports of layoffs at companies like Nike, Citigroup, TD Bank, and Bank of America further emphasize the looming economic challenges. Comparisons to the potential magnitude of the upcoming financial crisis being greater than that of 2008-2009 highlight the forthcoming wealth transfer. This shift presents a significant opportunity for strategic positioning to capitalize on potential investments.